What the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. So, Jim, it's Pierre Poilievre out of left field day today, I guess. All of a sudden deciding to turn his attack from Justin Trudeau, and it didn't leave him entirely, but spent a lot of time and devoted to Jagmeet Singh, including this little clip here that I'm going to play for you, which I thought was interesting. I kind of frame it, but how do you really feel, Mr. Poilievre?
Canadians cannot afford another painful, costly, chaotic, and corrupt year of Justin Trudeau. He will not quit. He must be fired. His ego, arrogance, and incompetence will always have him putting himself ahead of Canadians.
That's what he saved for Justin Trudeau, but he had a lot worse for Jagmeet Singh. But, Jim, give me your reaction to this because, as I said, look, maybe this is par for the course. I don't know, but I thought he went out of his way to really go after Jagmeet Singh today.
Well, I mean, using Singh as a target is not necessarily that new. Sellout Singh has been kicking around. That expression has been kicking around thanks to Pierre Poilievre. I think for the past couple of months, he went after him on the basis of, Singh wanting to hold on to power. So he can collect. If he does, get voted out, he can collect his full pension as a federal MP. I don't see anything that's remarkably new in this. I think on the one hand, first impression is, if you're gonna go big or go home. Paint Trudeau as the villain and paint Singh as his stooge, and that way you're creating another narrative that even if you're, somewhat left of center, you're turning around, you're aiding and abetting by helping Jagmeet Singh. Don't think you're not getting your hands dirty with Justin Trudeau. You're helping him stay in power. That's one take, okay? I got to tell you, Aaron, and I say it on the show all the time, to me the most important question of all is why. And why now? Why is Pierre Poilievre piping up now and trying to create this narrative or go after Jagmeet Singh or the words? I mean, honestly, when I heard this report today, the words that stayed in my mind were not Jagmeet Singh. The words that stayed in my mind were October election. Why is this guy angry for an October election? And I have no tremendous insight, Aaron, but I've been to enough political crime scenes to know that when you have a party that does nothing without polling it 6 ways to Sunday first, is it possible that as we approach these two by-elections on September 16th, I believe, one in Montreal, which a lot of people are keeping their eye on to see if the Liberals hang on to it, the other in Winnipeg, which looks like it's going to be a slam dunk for the NDP, well, maybe, but then on the other hand, maybe not. I'm really wondering, is it possible in the bowels of, Poilievre HQ, that there have been some rather disturbing poll results that suggest that if it happens that Justin Trudeau does take his leave, that, if they lose in LaSalle, Amard, Verdun, and finally, whether it's from within the rank and file of the Liberals or Trudeau himself who decides to go, wouldn't it be funny if there's a poll result or poll results that suggest that Pierre Poilievre's lead would, disappear as quickly as the morning dew? That, in fact, the only thing that is keeping Pierre Poilievre afloat as any kind of political viability is Justin Trudeau himself, and that if a viable, believable, credible successor was found, Pierre Poilievre might, like every other political leader before, or Tory leader before him, who's been in office since Trudeau's been around, is going to get taken out to the woodshed next October by the electorate and put out of a job. And that, I think, is a real possibility, my friend. This guy doesn't do anything out of the blue. My God, it looks like Dr. Seuss writes his speeches. But the fact is, for a guy to start talking and trying to enter early election into the narrative, to me, suggests if it's got to be in his interest. And perhaps waiting another year, and my goodness, it will be another year, is the last thing Pierre Poilievre wants to do, not for Canada, but for Pierre Poilievre.
So I had read today in a poll, and I wondered if this might have had something to do with it, that in the last national poll, I'm not sure, I don't think it was a Legault poll, but it actually had the NDP down 5 full percentage points. So they're now in the 15% range from 20 or 21, which is where they usually were. And I wonder if he seized on that as a good time to go ahead and do it.
He could be looking, but here's the problem. It's not like you drop an NDP supporter into the sausage making machine and they come out a Tory. So if they're going to go anywhere, they're going to go to the Liberals. So that's not necessarily good news. But if you paint the NDP, which always likes to pretend it's the country's conscience, if you paint them, as I say, it's nothing more than the accomplices of Justin Trudeau. You might be scoring some points, especially with this upcoming by-election. If the Tories win in Winnipeg, it will be a bigger poke in the eye for Jagmeet Singh than if the NDP wins in Montreal. That is for Justin Trudeau. I really think he sees that there is a lot of cracks appearing, and I know it's not a coalition, but in this alliance, this agreement they have, Aaron. But man, oh man, why is he in such a rush? Why all of a sudden this? That's the part that doesn't add up. I wouldn't even be talking about this with you. I wouldn't have mentioned it if it had just been standard. I'm going after Jagmeet Singh. Oh God, it's another day at the office for Pierre Poilievre. But suddenly to enter, you've got to get rid of him. We have to go to the polls early. We can't afford another year of Trudeau. I think that may be true, but I suspect it may be more true for Pierre Poilievre than for your average Canadian.
Isn't that interesting? There's your theory on that. Your theory on Trump is he's going to decide to walk too. This is fascinating, Jim.
Well, it's you just, and like I say, I don't have any insight, and quite frankly, if some insider told me this, I think he was full of it. The thing is, when you just look at the way things happen, you just ask yourself, well, why is he saying this now? I mean, let's face it, Pierre Poilievre hasn't exactly been a flying Walenda when it comes to explaining policy. He keeps his stuff very safe, simple, and stupid, okay? And he points his finger at you if you ask him for details. So why all of a sudden, though, is he saying an early election? What is it, what's in it for Pierre Poilievre to go to the poll early? And I think it may be the fact that he'd rather face Justin Trudeau, as would anyone, than face a potential successor and to a potentially revitalized federal Liberal Party.
Fascinating. Okay, we shall see. So you're actually, I want to make sure I understand this, that we don't talk much about what's going on in BC in an election, but you think that could be pivotal?
Well, yeah, in Winnipeg and in Manitoba.
I'm sorry, Manitoba.
That by-election. Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge deal if the Tories win there, and if the NDP wins in Montreal. There is going to be a lot of thinking on the part of both those parties. And maybe I'm being silly here because I haven't seen a glimpse of it, but I can't believe people like Chrystia Freeland, and God help us, even someone like Mark Miller, who knows what time it is, politically speaking, can turn around. If they lose the second by-election and what's a perceived stronghold, if Justin Trudeau still has a job by the end of the week, then it's not on Justin Trudeau. It's going to be on people like them. It's going to be on the rank and file. And if the federal Liberals say, "Oh no, that's fine. We trust the great leader," well, then you deserve to anything that happens to you. Because quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, and I've made it clear on the show repeatedly, Pierre Poilievre is not a formidable political force of any kind whatsoever. Okay, he's a motto machine. Okay, the fact is. His campaign could just as easily be put together by an AI program. But the fact is, the only thing he's got in his pocket, the only thing he's got going for him is Justin Trudeau. Take Justin Trudeau out of the equation, all of a sudden, all bets are off. And that you're getting from the betting man.
So let me ask you, I want to move off this, but to that point, if he's not that political force, and I think a lot of people might agree with you, I think you're right, is the conservative movement now enough of a force?
I don't think so. I think it's a one-man show.
All right.
And you know what? And I was wrong. I'll admit it. I was flat out wrong. I thought when Poilievre won and the way that he won and the manner in which he was conducting politics, I thought for sure a lot of the Conservative caucus would sit as independents. No, they bought into him as the old guard Republicans bought into Donald Trump. And like them, to paraphrase Chuck Schumer, their association with Pierre Poilievre will stick to them like bands of steel. Don't turn around and call yourself a progressive conservative if this goes south again. It ain't going to happen. Pierre Poilievre's, how can I put it, imprimatur has been placed on this party for generations to come. So there are no excuses. But I'm telling you, take someone else, put someone, and we see it every time with new surveys. The minute somebody keeps their mouth shut, or the minute someone like, say, Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon talks like a normal human being, all of a sudden he gets all this support. Because why? Because that's what the public wants. They don't want, breathless tweets from Justin Trudeau or goofy mottos from Pierre Poilievre.
Jim, real quick, want to know what you think about this whole situation today. I'd like to take all the credit for this. Yesterday we had a spokesperson for the FIQ on the show detailing what the problem was, the government not coming to the table, really just doing nothing. And then today, all of a sudden, along comes Sonia Lebel, the Treasury Board president, sits down and says, okay, let's sit and talk, let's work this thing out. Did this have to do with the demonstration yesterday on the Carey Expressway?
Maybe to a certain extent. I mean, I'll give you some credit for it, but if it makes you feel any better, I think they're realizing that the great creation of Santé Quebec, of this showpiece agency that is the combined brilliance of Christian Dubé and François Legault, is going to go nowhere if you don't have the FIQ on side. And the spokesperson that you spoke to yesterday, she was perfect because she pointed out that this is a matter, and isn't it always that way? It's an amazing coincidence, Eric. Isn't it always when there's a group of women who have to deal with this Legault government, they're the ones who have to keep saying, could you treat us with a little bit of respect, please? Can you treat us that you don't get to reassign us, at your discretion, halfway across town or halfway across half the riding, because it fits your bureaucrats. Your bureaucrats are going to be able to check off their boxes. That's what this is about, and this is what they're realizing. Will they blink on the whole issue of reassigning nurses? Probably not. Will they try and make it a little more sweet? Will they throw more cash at it? Maybe that's what the offer is. But by God, my hat's off to the FIQ. In all the years I've been covering various unions in Quebec, and there's the CSN and the FTQ and the construction unions. The FIQ is the toughest union, the toughest Quebec union I've ever seen. Talk about hanging together. Good luck to them. And if they win, they'll have deserved every single second of it.
James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.
That's the man.